agricultural land. So what we're standing in is a center alley, and they've gone up through these paddocks here, and now they're coming to here, and today they'll be moved into the paddock right there, where you're standing. Yeah, they're going to go through this wooden gate, and they'll be right in there, okay? Here's the point. That paddock over there, you can see how lush it is and all that. This one looked just like that a week ago.
Wow.
And that looked just like this 6 weeks ago.
Wow.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so the deal is that
They like the rain.
oh yeah, oh they love the rain, they love they like the mud. So the whole point is that we're moving them every time they eat that feeder empty. Then we move them to the next paddock, and that keeps them onto fresh ground all the time, and allows the old ground to come back, to grow back, to revegetate and recover. And so the pigs are moved every few days, just like the cows, and that gives us a constant disturbance factor on this ground. Now, here's the thing to remember. This is where I go into my soapbox about disturbance. We've got a thing where a lot of radical environmentalists think the best thing we could do for the planet is just to annihilate humanity, you know, and everything would be fine. And I don't think that's a very high moral road to defend. And so the question is, well, what are we here for? What are humans here for? I would suggest that we are here to enhance the ability of the Earth to metabolize. One of the reasons we're here is to metabolize more solar energy into biomass than it would in a static state. And so, so the pigs act as a disturbance factor. I want you to understand that what you see, or that lush vegetation. I mean, it's what, you know, it's 4 feet tall, some of it's 5 feet tall. Okay, that will come back 3 times like that through the season for the pigs to graze. Hit the wire. The point is that this is accumulating way more biomass, converting more solar energy into carbon sequestering biomass than that forest right there in its static state. All right. How do we get there? How do we get that ecology to move to that? Is using the pigs as a disturbance factor to move to create a freshening up, just like you would if you wanted to plant a garden. You know, you don't take carrot seeds and beet seeds and throw them over your shoulder in the backyard and say, "Ooh, we got a garden." You have to take a spade or a shovel. You have to do some disturbance. Okay. Einstein said, before there can be construction, there must first be destruction. You know, if you've ever built a house, the first thing you do when you build a house is, you know, you don't sit there in your hammock, you know, sipping mint juleps on the back stoop in your pretty flower beds. The first thing you do when you build a house is have a great big argument between husband and wife. You know, what's it supposed to look like, and how big it's going to be, how it's going to be, right? It's always funny when I do that, because you can really see the ones who've gone through this. They say if a marriage can survive a house building, you know, it's good to go. Anyway, and then you finally decide what it's going to look like, and the first thing that happens is a backhoe comes, right? And digs down and gouges up clay, so then you're fussing each other about dragging dirt in the car, right? And you have this big mess first. But that's the beginning. The fact is that all innovation and new things, new successional innovation, requires a period of disturbance. You know, the business community writes books like, you know, Sacred Cows Make the Best Burgers. And goodness, you know, having babies is disturbing. But who wants to live in a world with no babies? You know, no new ideas, no creativity. And so, you know, the Egyptians have the metaphor of the phoenix rising from the ashes. Everybody likes to focus on the phoenix, but nobody wants to look at the ashes that were required to make a successional and innovative thing with the phoenix to rise. And if I may go where angels fear to tread, that's the problem with both the Bush and the Obama bailout plans, is that they did not allow the necessary disturbance level required to really create a shakeup big enough to make an innovative, creative solution to outlandish behavior. So this disturbance factor is real critical. So the pigs are this disturbance factor to actually create a more diversified forage base and sward than would be here in a static wood situation. Now when the pigs get to a certain size, they get about 200 pounds, these pigs here are about 125 pounds. When they get to 200, then they'll go into the woods, into big paddocks, 3 to 5 acre paddocks. These are only half an acre, big paddocks, where they can eat acorns and bugs and grubs and root up roots and things like that to stimulate the disturbance to help the silvicultural ecology function better by creating an understory of disturbance that actually makes a second tier of green material under the trees, forage based, as opposed to just some brush and just trees and static leaf litter. So, you know, one of the best things we could do for the Shenandoah National Park and the George Washington National Forest and stuff is to run pigs in them to convert the static leaf duff into soil building humus. And that would stimulate the decomposition carbon sequestering process.
And how long does the forest get a rest in between?
Forest, a year. They only are in the forest spots normally about 3 weeks in a year. That's it. And then it's a whole year, so that the acorns can come back and the persimmons and the cherry, okay, so you can get the crops back. Okay, and the beauty of that is that the pigs actually reduce their consumption of grains by 45% in the forest system. So now you've created a cash incentive to forest stewardship that doesn't exist when the only thing you've got to sell is lumber. You know, a once-in-a-lifetime harvest that kind of pays the taxes for the generation until it grew. Now we're talking about $300 to $500 an acre on rough ground that's not conducive to anything else that actually stimulates it to actually sequester more sun into biomass than it would otherwise. All right, question?